Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here with my third generation Mazda 3. That's a 2013 and onwards, and today we're going to do a simple oil and filter change. Now in this video we're going to show you the consumables used, all of the tools used, and importantly how to safely and effectively do this simple service yourself. So let's get into it. So let's have a quick look at the consumables and the tools required to do this job. You're going to need 4.2 litres of quality, fully synthetic 0W20 oil, a new oil filter. You're going to need a new sump plug gasket, and as you can see, this is optional, but I'm actually going to swap my drain plug out to a new one, and that's because these vehicles, the third generation Mazda, have an 8mm hex key drain plug, which can round off, so I'm swapping it over to a genuine Mazda 17mm drain plug. Then I've got a pin removal tool to get the undercover off, to get to the access of the oil filter and the drain plug, a Phillips head screwdriver, a oil filter cup removal tool. I really like this style. I'll show you where you can get that in the description to the video, but you could use an alternative strap or wrench on the oil filter. I just prefer this style. Then we've got a 8mm or 5/16 hex key to get the traditional hex key drain plug out of the vehicle, but then I've got a 17mm socket to put my new drain plug in. You could have either in your vehicle. And then we've just got our socket wrench, our torque wrench to torque the drain plug to specification, and an oil drain pan. So to get under the vehicle to drain the oil, you are going to need to raise the vehicle safely. To do that, I've got my homemade low profile ramps here. I've got my wheel chocks, my 4 heavy duty jack stands, and my heavy duty trolley jack. So I'll just pop the video on time lapse now. If you need a detailed video on how to safely put your vehicle up onto jack stands, then I'll put a link to a detailed video in the description. So with the vehicle safely up on the jack stands, let's open the bonnet and get into this. So on the driver's side footwell, you'll find this lever here to open the bonnet. And then there's a secondary latch under the bonnet like that. And then you grab the hood rod and you simply place it up on the bonnet like that. At this stage, I like to remove the oil fill plug and the dipstick, and then jump under the vehicle to remove this plastic trim piece. Now, as you can see, it's got 2 push pins and 2 Phillips head screws. So let's get the Phillips head screws out to start with, and the one over here, and then got our lovely push pin removal tool. As you can see, that just makes the job so much easier. And then we've got the one over here as well. And then we can just get that out like that. Next we grab our oil drain pan. So as you can see, we've got the oil filter and the drain plug conveniently under that little plastic trim. And I like to take the drain plug out first. So we've got our 8mm hex and we just undo that. Now, this one does feel a little bit tight. There we go, got that out. And just make sure we've got the drain pan accurately under the vehicle so we don't miss and get oil all over the floor, and we'll just get that out now with a minimum amount of fuss. Perfect. Then whilst the remainder of that oil is draining, we grab our cap removal tool for the oil filter and take the oil filter out. So just let that drain out a little bit, then we can just spin that oil filter off the rest of the way. So we grab our new oil filter, and what we want to do is to lube that ring. Now I just stick my finger in a bit of the old sump oil just to lube it up nice so it's not dry when we screw that on. And then we screw our new oil filter straight on. Now importantly, we don't over tighten this at all. What we want to do is to bring it up till it mates, and then to do a 2/3 turn by hand. We don't need to use a tool on this, folks. So whilst that's finishing draining, let's just prep our drain plug. As I said in the beginning of the video, we are swapping the original 8mm hex drain plug for a 17mm drain plug. and that's because if you just look in closely there, it is starting to round out a little bit on the hex, and we want to swap it over before we have a problem and can't get a drain plug out in the future. Also, we're putting a new drain plug gasket on there. Now that's just preventative. You can attempt to reuse these drain plug gaskets, but for the sake of a couple of dollars, and you can see that this one is starting to flatten out a little bit, you save the pain of any oil leaks that may come from reusing that drain plug gasket. So then we want to screw our freshly prepped drain plug straight back in, just like that. And we'll just give a bit of a wipe around completely of any of that splashed oil. And on that new filter there. So then we grab our 17mm socket on our torque wrench, and we've got it set to 24 Newton meters. So just grab it like that, and we can see that's perfect, just like that. So next we need to put the plastic trim piece back in, and as we saw it come off, it's got the Phillips head screws in the front, just like that. There's one there, and one over the other side here. Just got to find the hole, and then it's got those plastic push pins in the rear, so we just pop them back in. So next we need to fill it up with oil, and as I said in the beginning, the manufacturer specification of oil for this vehicle is a 0W20, 4.1 or 4.2 litres. I'm actually choosing myself to use a 5W30, and that's because I'm in Australia where it's a little bit warmer. And if you look to the graphs in the manufacturer's handbook, for our temperatures here, 5W30 is just better for our environment. Additionally, for the extra lubrication property, sacrificing perhaps potentially a little bit of efficiency in the running of the engine, I'm more than happy to have that little bit extra lubrication protection. So let's fill it up now. I'm also choosing here, folks, to use a funnel. Now, I could actually be game and just tip it straight into the engine. Sometimes I do that, but just to save a little bit of mess, I've grabbed a funnel and we're using the funnel here today. So having filled the engine with oil, we grab our dipstick and pop it back in and pull it back out to measure the oil. As you can see, it's bang on full. So with the oil filled up, we just want to pop in the vehicle and start it up for 30 seconds. And having run the engine, we grab our dipstick, put it in the hole and pull it out, and then check the level. Now, as you can see on the level here, we're about halfway up the dipstick, so we need to top it up with a little bit more oil in this case. That's probably enough. And then once again, we check the level. So pull the dipstick out, give it a wipe, pop it back in, and then pull it out and check the level again. As you can see, I'll just bring you around. Now, it's bang on full. So we take our funnel out and pop our oil fill plug back in like that. Now whilst I'm here, I like to check the levels of the other fluids under the bonnet. So we've got our brake reservoir. In this car it's actually a manual, so it's a combined brake reservoir, clutch reservoir. We can check the level just by looking from the outside. You can see it's right up to the full mark there. And I also like to top up the windshield washer. And don't forget to check the coolant level. Also, whilst the vehicle's up on jack stands, I like to check out the condition of the brake pads. So pop off the wheels and have a visual inspection of the complete brake pads and the brake rotors on your vehicle. If you don't know how to do that, then check out the video in the description of this video. So that's it, folks. The final thing to do is to close the bonnet, to get the car down off the jack stands and to take it for a test drive. So there you go, folks. That's how to quickly, simply and easily change the oil and filter in your Mazda 3, saving you both time and money along the way. If you have liked this video, give us a like and drop a comment down below. It's truly appreciated. And in the future, if you're interested in learning about maintaining and servicing your Mazda 3, then do check out the other videos on the channel. Also, if you're interested in learning about maintaining and servicing other vehicles on the channel, we've also got the Audi A3, the Mercedes and the early Ford Falcon. So if you're interested in any of those vehicles, then do subscribe. But until next time, have a good evening.